So what all this stuff kind of led me up to as someone who's, I have a boutique agency, 25 plus people. We work with a lot of mid-market companies and some large brands. But we have no dedicated marketer. We have no salespeople. And like Brian said in the session before this, we don't really do any advertising. And yet we've attracted media attention from the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Washington Post, Forbes, blah, blah, blah. We are working with numerous large companies and well-known brands. How did that happen? It happened through content, of course. And so there's this hypothesis. What could we do to stand out in that age of amongst all that competing content that all these companies and consumers are producing? Well, what if we partnered with influencers in our target audience to create useful resources for the industry at large? If we did that, we could probably fast track our own marketing performance and our own influence. So here's essentially what I'm saying. What if we partnered with the target audience we're actually trying to sell into if we were in the sales business? What if we partnered with them to actually create content together for the greater good of the industry? What would happen? Things like this happen. And this is a project LinkedIn. Jason Miller from LinkedIn championed this, and we just helped with the influencer part. But a lot of people think of LinkedIn as a jobs and recruiting website, right? You don't often think of LinkedIn as a marketing resource, right? I can go to Google AdWords, that's marketing. Google is search and search marketing, but I think of LinkedIn, it's a social network, jobs, da-da-da. So they, in the journey to go from where they were to where they wanted to be, they started creating useful assets that not only tapped internal subject matter experts, but also external subject matter experts, marketing experts, because that's how they want to be known. And that's the key to this thing. How do you want to be known? Right? How do you want to be known? That's who you find in terms of influencers. So they did that. And of course, they not only produced an ebook, but there was a webinar, there was infographic, the content was translated in multiple languages. There was even a print book that was given out in social media marketing world, and I had to steal one from a LinkedIn employee in order to get one myself because they went pretty fast. But that's the awesome number, 21,000 ROI, 21,000%. That's millions in revenue were generated as a result of that one program. Pretty straightforward, but what was different about it is that it did include influencers, and it included influencers in some interesting ways. So I'm going to tell you a story along these lines related to content marketing world. And I don't know if anyone has seen any of these images, any of these ebooks, these infographics, or any other assets that were produced for this, but this just happened over the last 30 days or so. And basically, for the last couple of years, we've been working with the event, as I mentioned before, to create something that would tap the smarts of the speakers to provide practical tips as a preview to what they might be speaking about, thereby creating awareness and people wanting to come to the conference. So the specific steps I'm going to talk about range from goals, identifying, qualifying, recruiting, collecting content, creating the content, organizing the content, amplifying the content, and measurement. So there you go. So in 2012, it was secret agent. Who doesn't want to know a secret, right? So we literally reached out to a select number of speakers and said, you're a secret agent. We actually asked in character, you're a secret agent. You just came back from a mission. You just met with your handler after a rendezvous, and now you've got this content marketing secret. We need you to share it with the world. And quite a few of them answered in character from very large companies. It was awesome. We used a lot of secret agent, vintage secret agent, 007 type of imagery, and that did quite well. Over 40,000 views. It dropped on a Thursday. This was only meant to be a value add to the event. So it dropped on SlideShare on a Thursday. The conference happened the next Monday. So by that Monday, there were over 40,000 views on SlideShare alone. And other speakers are actually mentioning it in their presentations. SlideShare was a different animal then than it is now. SlideShare. Anybody plays with SlideShare now, you know how hard it is to get 10,000 views, let alone 100,000. So the following year we did, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in Cleveland. Yeah. So that was the focus. Rock and roll, content marketing that rocks. Now, in the course of doing this, of course, Content Marketing Institute has its own network, a substantial network, and so does our boutique agency. We've had over 1 million views on SlideShare alone. and have over 22,000 people connected to us on SlideShare. So, of course, whenever we publish something on SlideShare, a lot of people get an email saying, hey, Top Rank just uploaded a new presentation today. And every time we do a project like this, I just realized I'm talking really, really fast. Every time we do a project like this, those numbers go up. In fact, every time we do a project like this, we bring more to the table for the organizations that want to reach these target audiences. So our overall network, if you will, subscribers and friends, fans, and followers is around 300,000. So we have an audience to promote this kind of content too. Our approach, our model is for content follows a sort of this empathy view of the relationship between customers and information, and understanding your target audiences and how they do three things. One, how do they discover content? Right? What do they search on? What do they subscribe to? What do they read? Who influences them? The second thing, what are their preferences for consumption? Do they like video? Do they like infographics? Do they want really, do they want white papers? Do they want blog posts? Do they consume this information on a tablet or a smartphone or a desktop, right? Consumption. And the third thing is action. What types of offers would compel them to take action? By empathizing with your target audience in those ways, you can optimize your efforts. And I don't just mean SEO, I mean optimizing performance. So, according to Attract, Engage, Convert, right? These are how you can be accountable to all the content you produce, whether it's an influencer-related program, public relations, demand generation, lead generation, whatever. So in Attract, in this case, we knew that folks were reading blogs, our blogs, CMI's blog. Obviously, there were social networks, email, and we would actually optimize content for attraction through search, organic search. From an engagement standpoint, we knew a B2B audience would like PDF format, also SlideShare, infographics, long-form interviews, and micro content. From a conversion standpoint, we gave many opportunities, obviously to share and like, but also to download. If they provided some contact information, they could find more information from Content Marketing World and register. They could find out more information from our sponsor who underwrote the whole thing, which is Curata. Yay, Curata, for doing that. And then they could get more information from Top Rank if they wanted to. So there are multiple ways for conversions, next steps, in the sales cycle to occur. So our goals with this program were, number one, create value. Create a resource that would be useful to people interested in content marketing. Joe said that he wanted specifically to focus on strategy, audience development, visual content, and ROI. So those were the titles of the 4 ebooks. Another objective, of course, was building broad-based thought leadership. Also, subject matter expertise. Every time we do one of these projects, it's an example of the kind of work that we do. Now, obviously, we do ebooks and other influencer programs outside of just conferences, but it's a very referenceable type of example. Another huge objective, of course, is creating content. And there's a lot of content created out of 4 ebooks. And then conversion-related metrics, engagement, traffic, shares, leads. And the most important to me, developing real relationships with the influencers that we're engaging with.